Hello everyone, in this video I'll be reviewing the best class mods of 2024 in Baldur's Gate 3's mod manager. We've gotten a lot of great class mods this year, and I previously did a video of the best mods in Baldur's Gate 3, and I'll be doing the best subclass mods in a couple days time. But I spent many hours reviewing all of the great class mods that released this year and narrowed it down to around 20 of the absolute best class mods that you should download and try out for yourself. So I guess we'll just jump right into things because there's a lot to cover today. But the first class one I want to talk about is the Oakheart Sentinels version 2, made by Nightly ST. This one went under the radar. There's less than 10,000 downloads, with 7,000 being downloaded. I highly recommend this one. If you're a fan of the Druid, what this class aims to accomplish is makes it like a Druid martial class, but it comes with multiple different subclasses. So there was a previous version of the Oakheart Sentinel, and the new version's even better. It's got 6 different subclasses here. You got yourselves the Spring Keeper, Sun Watcher, Lore Seeker, Phase Shaper, Fall Reaver, and Frost Weaver. Now, what this class aims to accomplish is it makes it as if you're a druid, but also a martial class with a summon, like the Ranger's Pet. So each of these gets their own unique spells that they get to cast. So you can see here the Spring Keeper, they get themselves a Summon Hyena. They get different summons, they get different spells depending on what subclass you choose. You guys already know my favorite's the Frost Weaver, giving yourself things like a Orb of Winter and Winter's Gift and Eldritch Blast. That is cold damage. This comes with a bunch of custom spells and a whole lot of fun. I also enjoyed that they added the Mistress Spells compatibility to this mod. Nightly SD did a fantastic job with this mod. We can see most of the spells here are ones that you would get from the Druid, and then there's some special ones depending on the subclass that you choose. So a lot of customization there for people that like to choose classes that have very distinct subclasses. And then you also get yourself the Oakheart Companions. So with this, you can summon in like a Spirit Eagle, Tainted Bear, Blink Dog, Saber Cat, Winter Wolf, or Owl Bear. And then each of the summons gets their own ones. You can also use the classic Ranger's Companions, but who doesn't want a big Frost Wolf here? So this is really fun. I absolutely love the Oakheart Sentinels mod. And you get like the Oak Branch here, so you can imbue your weapon. Yeah. There's a lot to love with this one. I highly encourage you to try it out. That's why I want to talk about it first, because it definitely deserves more downloads. This mod is fantastic. And again, made by Nightly ST. Go check this one out in the in-game mod manager. Next, we got ourselves the Alchemist, made by Relamod. And you may know Relamod as they've made a lot of fantastic mods, such as the More Enemies in Basic Fights, or the Extra Encounters mod, adding a bunch of new fights to the game, or even the Enemies Reworked mods. Now, the Alchemist is a very fun one because this comes with a few different subclasses. So you get here your Arcane Recovery, which is used to summon different spells. You can also create more alchemy potions, but we get different grenades and different attacks, and there's 3 distinct subclasses to this mod. I absolutely love it. Relamod has done a lot of great things with their mods. Again, Mistress Spell mod is a big plus for me anytime a class has that. And then you also have your Alchemist Discovery, so you can get things like Smoke Bombs, Chameleon, getting proficiency and expertise in stealth, being able to see in magical darkness. So you kind of play like a, you can play like almost a Grenadier rogue. Like, it depends, again, what subclass you choose. So 3 different subclasses with the Grenadier, obviously focused on throwing grenades, exploding, bombs, that sort of deal. The School of the Venomist here applies poison to your attacks, and you're immune to poison, and you can't be poisoned. So this one's pretty cool for focusing on more poison attacks. And the School of Mutator gives us different mutations, so you can give yourself advantage on Constitution, Strength, and Dexterity saving throws, and disadvantage on the opposite ones, increasing your armor class. And as you level up, you get stronger effects here. So what this looks like, you got different explosions. So you got Stink Bombs, Smoke Bombs, Flashbangs, Volatile Mixtures, Breaching Charges. And then you got your poison abilities here, Assassin's Blade, giving you additional poison damage on your attacks. And then the Mutator here has a bunch of different effects too that gives it some pretty strong effects in combat. This is a fun one, similar to the Artificer mod, but very different at all the same. This one only has 5,000 downloads, so it also deserves more downloads. This mod is a ton of fun. So yeah, check it out. But we got ourselves another not very well known mod with the Scrounger. This one only has 2,000 downloads, but what's cool about it is you can turn yourself into this freak beast. Basically what you got is you got a bunch of different items you got a bunch of different resources to create explosions, create potions, elixirs, that sort of deal. And then you can also use those effects to turn into some different enemies here. This mod was just recently updated. There was a previous version of this, but the Scrounger, you may notice this icon here. made by Quibon here. So I highly recommend this mod because it's just so much fun, the amount of chaos that you can create with this. So what it looks like here in game, you got your motion assisted prosthesis here, Scrounger's Fabricator, which allows you to make those bombs and potions, Speculative Evolution, which gives you more benefits later on, and you can make swarms that'll just attack the enemy. Makeshift Fuel Tank gives you biofuel, which you use to fuel your creations, and then the Swarm Intelligence passive feature. So whenever you attack with your swarm, raw damage equals to 6% of the maximum target's health points, and then you get 6% of the health points back. So that's pretty cool. Comes with its own subclass here, more to come too, but I just want to talk about this because you can do some pretty cool looking effects here with this. There's the swarms there going in and attacking. You can see you got your Swarm Infest, Swarm Feast. There's so much. I've done a build guide on this. You can check that out on my channel if you want a bit more in depth, but you got superior ammo, superior bombs, superior concoction, superior capsules. So you can create a hammer that you can throw around almost like Mjolnir. Lung Impaler. You got lots of stuff here. This one's a lot of fun, and definitely recommend checking it out. Next, we got ourselves the Elementalist class. This one's got 28,000 downloads, so a little bit more known, but what I like about the Elementalist is all the unique effects that come with it. So when we look at this mod, we got a few different subclasses, like the Elemental Gladiator, which you can infuse your weapon. You get the Elemental Synergist, which is mostly a half caster focused on doing cantrips and then weapon attacks that are elementally infused. And the Elemental Weaver, this one comes with a ton of new spells that are not in the game. My favorite actually being the Elemental Gladiator. You get some different class passives that give you further effects. And then you can choose a damage type that your weapons will deal. So if you want to make cold damage instead of physical, go right ahead. You can do it with any type of damage here. And then as we level up, we actually get a bunch of unique spells, which I'll show off, or I guess unique actions. So Spark Step giving you extra movement. And then you can add any type of extra damage. So if you want to add acid damage to your weapon, you can go ahead and do that, because there is some gear in the game that'll benefit from that. You get the Elemental Weapon, which gives you another additional damage of your choice. And then you get some cool attacks like the Exploding Strike with whatever type of elemental damage you want to add to it. This works really well with specific gear. Like I love the Snowburst ring on with the cold damage, because then you can create ice surfaces on your attacks. And then we get, as we level up, we get to some of these unique attacks here. Like this will reduce armor class by 2. This one does fire damage and possibly burns them. This can push them away, Crackling Slam. This can make it so that they can't heal themselves. This one poisons. This one does additional force damage in a large area, psychic damage. This one will have your movement speed, but elemental do you deal on your next damage, does additional 1d4. Or Moonlight Strike, which will give you advantage against the target. The Thundering Fissure, which hits in a straight line. Freezing Gale, which hits in a cone. Then we also got Reckless Power, Flash Fire, just fire and thunder damage. And then as you level up, there's even further of these spells that you do get. I think that this is one of the most well done mods, just because these 3 subclasses all feel unique and different from one another. So yeah, they're really cool. I love adding elemental damage to my weapon attacks. I'm a big sucker for that kind of stuff. So this class obviously is one that I really do enjoy, but it also has some really nice casting too. So if you want to go more of the caster route, you can go that way, or you can do the half caster. And they even are nice. Avire here put the full, like, what you can get from each class. So you can see here, they get a ton of new cantrips and spells. It's really, really well done. I can't say enough good things about this mod. So go download it. It's worth your while. Elementalist class mod. Next, we got ourselves the Demigod mod. Now, I really like this one because it comes with a bunch of different updates and different gods. If you're a Greek mythology fan, this mod's for you. Made by Dean Enterprise. You got the Hair of Zeus, and each of these is very well done for subclass sake. There's the Hair of Ares here. You got yourself the Hair of Hades and the Hair of Aphrodite, and as well Artemis. So with this, what it looks like is you go into this class, so the Demigod, the different subclasses being Hair of Zeus, Hair of Hades, Hair of Aphrodite, Ares, or Artemis, and you'll see each of these comes with unique spells. So Zeus obviously focused on the weather and lightning. And then your spells will all be that as well. If you go with Hades, it's obviously going to be more necrotic focus. So you get like the soul shield here, you get inflict wounds. Hair of Aphrodite being more psychic focused, and you get vicious mockery here, and also some like charming spells, things like that. They're all pink. Hair of Ares being more of a melee class, using your wisdom rolls for attacks. And then you get like things like Sword Burst or Eldritch Blast, and then some further options being like Magic Missile. Then the Hair of Artemis being more of a ranger, You get the ability, the Artemis arrows, gives you special abilities with those. The Ares is, or the Artemis being the newest of these. It's very well done. I've done builds on Hades, Zeus, and I'll be doing ones on the future Hares as well, just because I really do enjoy this mod. So Dean Enterprise did a fantastic job with this one. I absolutely love this. So just wanted to touch on this mod because it's a lot of fun. Next, we got ourselves the Bloodrager. I love the Bloodrager. Why do I love the Bloodrager? Because this is actually a class in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. If you've played that game, the Bloodrager, you get a bunch of different subclasses. I've done a build on this before, and actually, if you go and look into this mod, you can actually see, if you go through it, it's my build. So the Bloodrager build, Barbarian. It's a Barbarian caster, basically. So you can rage and spellcast all the same. So shout out to Von Smash. I really appreciate them sharing my video there. Just shout out to content creator Jay Dunna for the cool build and free exposure. My pleasure. This is a fantastic mod, one of my favorites. And I am Groot. You get it yourself, a mean and green class with the Verdant bloodline. Now, what's cool about this is they have different effects. So I love the Verdant bloodline. This is the one that I picked first, but whenever you rage, you can actually root yourself in place and get additional armor class and healing from that. And then anytime you take out an enemy, you can heal yourself if they're within your range. And then there's the Oaken skin. Whenever you get into the Blood Rage, you get additional armor class of 12 plus Constitution Dexterity modifiers. And every time you stay stationary, you get in +1 to your armor class. So very powerful, obviously. And each of these also has their own unique abilities. This is one of the most well done mods that I've seen. It's got 43,000 downloads, so it is pretty well downloaded, but go download this. This one's amazing. And I will be focusing on more builds of this as the future comes, because there's a lot of great things that you can do with this, especially since there's not many builds that focus on raging and spell casting, and this one you can. So absolutely love the Bloodrager. This is a very, very nice class, and it's from Pathfinder Wrath, or it's a Pathfinder class, so it's very popular. Another one that's similar to a Pathfinder class is the Wyldheart. Now we'll just ignore the picture there. We'll look at this one. So basically what this one does, made by Wildsong XXL, the Wyldheart is kind of like a Sylvan sorcerer if you played Pathfinder. It's the best way to put it. It's like a sorcerer mixed with the druid. So obviously that's a lot of fun. The Wyldheart here also gets different summons, and I'm a big fan of summons. So Mistress spells compatibility, obviously that's fantastic. Bunch of different spells here. And then our subclasses, we got ourselves the Master of the Hounds, giving us the ability to summon in wolves. Green Speaker, giving us some cool different so you can see here, you get to choose your summon: Blue Jay, Pixie, Sapling, or a Wisp. And then the Raven Song, obviously you get a Raven companion. Primal Lord gives us the Juvenile Dilophosaurus, Owlbear Cub, Grimishka, or the Spider, and as you level up you get better versions. And the Chaos Warden here, minor air elemental, water, earth, or fire. So this one obviously focused on elementals, and you can add wisdom modifier to the damage you deal with cantrips. Each of these comes with unique options that you get as you level up. So I highly recommend trying this one out as well, because it's cool. It's more spellcasting druid combinations is all something that I think is great. So yeah, the Wyldheart, made by Wildsong XXL. Go check this mod out. They also have some other ones like the Green World Sorcerer, the Farmer's Revenge, which is a farmer sorcerer, kind of funny. But yeah, this class is really, really well done. Next, we got ourselves the Dragon Tamer. I've done a build on this one, and I love this. Basically, you get to pick if you want to be either a fighter or a archer, and with this, you get to choose a fire, ice, or lightning dragon. So you can see here you get to choose ice element for a little cute ice dragon, or a fire element, or a lightning one. Choosing this will give you the ability to summon it in. It gets stronger as you level up, and you also get a bunch of cool effects as it does level up. So you can see here, I won't go through the whole leveling because it's basically it just levels up, and then you can give it cookies at a certain level. So you can see you can cast. You also, once you get to level 3, you get to choose either bow or weapon proficiencies. And once you get that, you get heavy armor or medium armor, depending on bow or melee. And yeah, there's a bunch of abilities here that you can see. It does get strong. It gets auras, different spells that you can cast, and it gets its own resources that you level up. And when you attack, your dragon will actually attack with you. So let's say you attack someone with a melee attack, your dragon will spit a fire, ice, or lightning ball at it. So much to love with this class. I just think the Dragon Tamer is very well done. So yeah, this is a fun one. Highly recommend the Dragon Tamer mod. Next, we got ourselves the Priest class. This one was actually just recently sent to console, so if you're playing on console, you can use this mod. And what's cool about this is it's kind of loosely based off of the Priest from World of Warcraft. So if you've played that before, you may be familiar. It gets a bunch of cool spells. I've done a build on this as well because it's very, very well done. But it's cool because you can use spells to get holy power to cast your more powerful spells. So you don't just have all your resources at the start, you actually earn your resources. So you got things like your lesser heal, you got your smite rank 1, which levels up as you get stronger. And with this, you also get some very powerful psychic abilities as well. And there's 2 different subclasses. So you can see here, the Holy Fire does 2d4 radiant and fire damage. This uses your holy power. These build your holy power. So it's cool. You also get some more powerful heals as you level up. And you can cast spells as bonus actions or as actions. It's not brokenly overpowered. I actually think the base game cleric is stronger than the priest, but it doesn't need to be overpowered to be fun. This mod was made by C. Montgomery, 90,000 downloads, so this one's getting more popular. And again, if you want to see this in very good detail, check out my build guide. Next, we got ourselves the Accursed. This one also just recently landed on console. This one's cool because it's a high risk, high reward class. And not even like a high reward, it's just high risk. So the Accursed, it comes with 3 different subclasses: Damned, the Corrupted, and the Possessed. These 3 all get different effects, but basically what happens with this, so you can see here, Corrupted, Possessed, and Damned. The Accursed gets these different effects, like the Dark Tide. You can make your weapons deal additional necrotic damage as a bonus action. This is how you enter your abilities. I also did a build on this one, so you can check that out too if you want to see it in greater detail. But basically the Accursed, you take on these damage buffs, or you take on damage to be able to do different things. So there's one that'll make you take necrotic damage, but in return you get an extra attack. Or you can take necrotic damage and get extra movement speed. So that's where the higher risk, higher reward comes in, because some classes just come with these benefits without having to pay for it. It's like the monk. The monk can move more, and the Accursed can, but they take damage. That's why I think it's really fun. This mod was made by Gunk Monk. They did a great job with this one. And you can see lots of different effects, like you get different penalties whenever you disengage. You can, whenever you're below half health, you can increase your armor class and weapon attacks. And yeah, see, there's so much different things, and it goes all the way up to level 20. So very well done mod. The Accursed is an absolute blast to play through. Next, we got ourselves one that, this is kind of cheating, guys, I'm sorry. This is a subclass mod, and I should have included it on the subclass video that we'll be doing. However, this is such a well done mod that I needed to talk about it, just because if you haven't downloaded, I mean, it has 387,000 downloads. If you haven't downloaded, you got to go do that right now. I've done a few builds on this. This is my favorite subclass mod by far. You can create crawling claws, a bunch of different summons. You can attack when necrotic. Basically, the big thing about this, you get this huge dragon, you get this giant skeleton, you get this warlock that you can summon in. It's like a necromancer, but way better. And it's very strong. You can summon in this dragon, and the dragon will breathe fire, and anything it takes out, it'll raise zombies that fight alongside you. It's fun. And there's the giant skeleton, it's huge. And here's the dragon. You also have quests with this, you get unique items. And what's awesome is they actually posted my builds on here. So even just recently, I did a Dread Paladin build, and they posted this one up. So yeah, the Dread Overlord, thank you so much for your support here. This is one of my favorite mods ever made, and it's just seriously so good. So check this one out. I know it's already got 387,000 downloads, but if you haven't tried this one out, I know there's probably about 2 million people that use mods in Baldur's Gate 3. Go try this one out. You will not regret it. It's extremely well done. It's got this full class, or it's got this full quest log. And you can see they have a bunch of different abilities. And as you level up, it goes all the way up to level 20. So there's so much to love here. I can't say enough good things about the Dread Overlord Warlock. It's just seriously so good. I know it's not a class mod, I'm sorry, but I have to talk about it just because I love it so much. But next, we got ourselves the Artificer. Now, this is one of the most anticipated class mods that ever came to Baldur's Gate 3. Made by Echo 0000. They did a fantastic job with this one. I've done builds on all 4 of the different subclasses, so if you want to see this in further detail, you can check that out. You get a good choice of spells here, and it's basically the spell selection of the Artificer from Dungeons and Dragons. You also get these different infusions, so they can give you things like +1 armor class, or at level 10 get +2. Increase your weapon attacks, add homing to a weapon, gain advantage on concentration, dexterity checks will receive your intelligence modifier, strength saving throws and checks will receive intelligence modifier. And then 4 subclasses with Alchemist, Armorer, Artillerist, and Battlesmith. Alchemist focused on creating magical potions and bombs that you can throw. The Armorer focused on giving yourself additional lightning or thunder damage on your attacks, increased movement speed, and increased armor class. The Artillerist is focused on you can lay down these Eldritch Cannons or attach it to your ranged weapon and attack with it. I love this one's probably the strongest because you can drop down the Eldritch Cannons and they have pretty good damage, I'll be honest with that. And then you also get the repeating shot, which makes you shoot twice with your ranged weapon, and then eventually you can shoot 3 times with your ranged weapon. And then the Battlesmith gives you the Steel Defender to fight alongside you, and then you also get the effects of Alert. This one is really fun. I don't know what my absolute favorite is. I think Artillerist or the Battlesmith, but I've done builds for all 4 of these, so if any of these tickles your fancy, go check them out. They did a fantastic job with this mod, so yeah, shouts out to Echo. They did great with this one. Next, we got ourselves the Arcane Vanguard. This is another one that I absolutely love with 298,000 downloads. Go down this one again. If you haven't downloaded it, this is one of the most dedicated mod creators I've ever seen. Sathos has done a whole lot of good. They're also in my Discord, so if you want to join the Discord, links in the description. You can thank them for all their hard work. They've also released a subclass mod with 4 different subclasses that's really, really fun. But basically, what this does is it's kind of like the Artificer in a nutshell. But basically, the Arcane Vanguard, you get 4 different subclasses with the Eldritch, Judgment, Sentinel, and Dervish. Now, these give you a bunch of effects depending on what you choose, and they each come with their own spells. Like the Eldritch, more psychic focused. All of them get the ability to choose Mistress spells, so again, that's really awesome. It's got level 20 support coming. It's level 20 support. It's coming for console, but it's out for PC right now. And then you get a bunch of different fighting styles that are unique to this class. This is one of the most well done mods in the game. I'm seriously blown away so much with how much there is in this. I absolutely love this. So my favorite probably being the Judgment. This is more elemental damage focused. You can see here you get different elemental damage spells. Sentinel is kind of like a paladin, and the Dervish is actually really cool as well. Actually, Eldritch or Judgment are 2 of my favorites. The Dervish being a more of a melee attacker. You get different flourish attacks that can do a bunch of different effects. And yeah, I encourage you to check out my builds on all 4 of these. They're fantastic. And again, if you haven't downloaded this, go download it right now. You will not regret this mod either. It's fantastic. A gift style class. I love it whenever we combine spellcasting with melee attacking and make it feel fluid like this. So yeah, Sathos did a fantastic job with that. Next, we got ourselves the Witch. Now, this is one of the first subclasses to come to console and for PC. This is actually one of the first ones. If you downloaded the mod manager update right away, this is one of the absolute first ones you could have used. Now, what the Witch looks like is it's got different spells. Like you can turn yourself into a cat. You got Spread Curse Poison. Poison stacks equal to your medicine skill. You can do the Arcane Blade, which will do spell casting for attacks, basically on your weapon, being a blade instead of having to do it on like the Oakheart or the Shillelagh version here for the Druid. And you also get a bunch of different cool spells like Lesser Regeneration, Find Familiar, Lesser Create or Destroy Water, and there's a Lesser Create Water here. And in addition to this, we get a few different subclasses, which I'll show off in just a second here. The Witch is a whole lot of fun, and it does have a lot of downloads, but it's another one where if you haven't tried it out yet, go try it out. The subclasses being the Herbalist, focused on, poison damage. It's actually quite strong. The Frost Witch, my favorite. I love cold damage. The Hex Witch, focused on debuffing, kind of like Scarlet Witch. Witch Blade, mostly focused on attacking with, your blade and getting additional lightning, force, and fire damage on your attacks. And the Invoker, which is an interesting one, enhancing your physical performances, and you get a bunch of different buffs here. So, yeah, this mod made by Nuto123, fantastic. 500,000 downloads. Go download this. Next, we got ourselves the Battle Mage. Now, this one just recently came to consoles. Taco 4K is the creator of this mod. And what's nice about this one is it's actually a cool combination because you get some fun effects. It's got cool icons here, so you can see. You basically get to choose some cantrips, and with this, as you level up, you get to choose different subclasses, which have different effects depending on how you go. So whenever you deal damage with a spell, you can add that additional damage as a 1d4 to your attacks. This mod also has the Mistress Spells compatibility for further enhancing it. And also, you got yourselves 3 different subclasses: the Arcane Knight, Arcane Guardian, and the Witch Hunter. I've done builds for the Arcane Knight and the Witch Hunter, so you can check those out. Basically, they come with their own effects and different spells as you level up. I think this one's a lot of fun. It's kind of like the Arcane Vanguard. I like the Arcane Vanguard a bit more, I'll be honest, but this mod is still pretty good. It's a half caster though, so you don't get the same spell cast than some of the others will. Now the last two are probably some of the most well known, with the Mystic with 900,000 downloads. The Mystic is very well done because it has an overwhelming amount of choice. Now what makes this class so great is it's got a number of subclasses with 10 of them, and they're all very cool. My favorites being the Order of the Blade, giving you an extra attack, and there's an ability to give yourself an extra attack from your spells, so that's 3 attacks, and then you can also haste yourself and just make this absolutely busted. This is the strongest subclass, and it's also one of the most fun. I also like the Order of the Exorcist here, which gives you the ability to create some summons, and these summons can take on the form of like a mage, a warlock, a bard, etc. I really like having the 5 mages to drop 5 fireballs extra per turn. It's obviously strong. And then you can see here that we get a ton of different passives. So these here are what make up the build, and there's 63 different ones here, and yeah, that's a lot. So many different choices. I really like the Psychic Assault is really fun, giving your psychic damage. If you have the Resonance Stone, that's doubled. But yeah, I've done so many builds on this because it's just a blast to play with. Mastery of Time is also really fun for the acceleration zones, creating haste for your whole team. I think that that's pretty cool. And then you can also go with the Mantle of Courage to give yourself that extra action on the next turn for 6 of your teammates, which it's really good. So yeah, there's a lot to enjoy with the Mystic. I've talked about it countless times. I'm sure everyone's known this mod, so I don't want to go too in depth on this one, but it's great. Go download if you haven't. 900,000 downloads, almost 1 million. Let's get that to 1 million. And then finally, we got ourselves the Mindweaver. Now, this is one of my absolute favorites because the subclasses all feel very distinct from one another. So with the Mindweaver, you get a few cool options. So there's the Psionic Warden, which is focused on like a 1-weapon fighting and psychic attack or psychic damage on your attacks. The Force Blade's about force damage and also heavy armor, so it's more tanky. And it also gets 3 attacks, so it's kind of like a fighter with a bit additional force damage. The Astral Seer, which is cool because it does psychic and cold damage mostly, and it gets some really unique spells like a cold Cone of Cold or a cold magic missile. And then also there's things like a psychic lightning bolt and fireballs. It's also like the Wild Magic Sorcerer, which is one of my favorite classes because it's just unpredictable. You can create explosions around you depending if your astral instabilities stack up. And you also have the Astral Anomaly, so you can enhance your spells for more damage. The Void Reaver focus on 2-weapon fighting and actually fighting with 2 long swords, so you have the proficiency to use them, and they get the finesse property if they didn't already have it, and it's fun. And then the Aetheric Strider, which I previously did a build on. I guess I did builds for all 5 subclasses. The Aetheric Strider just being the newest one. Psychic attacks on your bow, necrotic damage on your weapon, and this one's just a blast to play. You teleport around doing attacks almost like you're Ciri from The Witcher. I love the Aetheric Strider, my favorite being the Astral Seer though. So there it is. Those are what I consider to be the best class mods of 2024 in the Baldur's Gate 3's mod manager. I may have missed a few of your favorites, so let me know if I missed any of yours in the comments. There's a lot of great mods that got released this year, and yeah, I hope in 2025 is just as good for the mods releasing. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already. Appreciate all the support. Thank you so much, and have yourself a great day. I'll see you in the next one.